this would be the perfect attitude for you to strike within yourself.
Okay.
Clearly this is something I really want. I wouldn't be playing with this at all. But I'm wanting to remind myself right here and now, and it would be a very good vibrational attitude for me to bring into this meeting with me, that whichever way this goes, I am ecstatically happy, because I can't lose in this situation. One of two things is going to happen here. Either I'm going to have an immediate manifestation of something that's in my vibrational escrow, and I'm going to get this job, or I'm not. And so if I get it, then that's an immediate manifestation. And if I don't, this will be for me one of the stronger catalysts of putting something even better into my vibrational escrow. And either way, I come out way ahead. So look at me here. Good for me. Look at where I'm at. Look at where I have parlayed myself to. Good for me. So I walk out of here successful on any front. And so I'm almost looking forward. Let's see, which do I want more? Do I want to get it and immediately close the gap, or am I wanting the advantage of the contrast that will parlay me into something either more? Oh, well, either way. It'll be fine either way. It'll be fine either way. We see people, they'll have an experience, maybe a relationship or an encounter, that will cause them to launch huge rockets of desire. So they've really become something wonderful as a result of that. And then they'll turn back and beat the drum of the details of that and use the very thing that caused their expansion as their current excuse not to expand. In other words, there is so much power in not getting the part that if you wouldn't let not getting the part get you down, what's lining up for you over here is so much bigger and better. But we know that's a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow, and yet it is understanding the laws of the universe. It requires some premises that a lot of people are not yet ready to accept, and the primary premise is it is working out for you. The primary premise is you do win. You are winning. You are having success. You are playing the game the way you intended. You are launching the rockets. And Source is lining up with them. And you will get what you want once you figure out how to be a match to what you want. So now let's go back to what you said when you began. You said, sometimes I expected to win and didn't. And other times I didn't expect and didn't. We want to use a different word than expectation. Let's use the word, because this is always accurate. Sometimes I was a perfect match to it, so I got it. And sometimes I wasn't a perfect match to it, so I didn't get it. Because there's a difference between, we've just got to say this, not just to you, but to everybody. There's a difference between the vibration you're offering and what it's bringing you, and what you think the vibration you're offering is. In other words, there's a disconnect with a lot of you. You ever remember your mother saying, "Don't you know I love you?" And there was no love anywhere, nowhere in that vibration. And so sometimes there is just not an awareness of what you're really doing vibrationally. So we don't want you to use words, I expected and I didn't get it, and then I didn't expect it and I did get it. We would rather hear you say, what I thought I was expecting, clearly I wasn't, because it didn't work out the way I thought I should. Because your life experience is always the exact evidence. It never works out differently than the vibration. It never works out differently than the vibration. Never. So you could accurately say, I offered a vibration I didn't know I was offering. That would be accurate. Or, there's something bigger and better for me. And this is part of, and we're not saying there's something bigger and better and you're being saved for it. We're saying by not getting this, you are in this moment in the mode of creating something bigger and better. Hear the difference? We're not saying, oh, you didn't get this because it was crummy in comparison with something else. That's not what we're saying. We're saying this is the way the big stuff happens. This is the way you work the system. This is the way you mold the clay. This is the way you build your escrow. Expectation really is inside the escrow. Expectation is having practiced the thought of what's in there so completely that there's no vibrational difference between what's in there and me. So when you are really in that place of pure expectation, what you want must come to you. Now, the method in which it comes, we understand, and you do too, that sometimes there's a sort of gap And that's annoying. In other words, people all over the room are thinking, oh yeah, that's the easy way out. You are really getting what you want. You just don't know it. It's really working out for the best in your failing at getting all of this stuff you want. And that is not what we are saying at all. What we are saying is that step one is contrast will cause you to ask. Step two is source will line up with what you've asked for, and the amassing of it will be accomplished immediately. And step three is you must bring the rest of you into vibrational alignment with what you're asking for. So when you go through the steps of an audition and you really want it, you think about it, you try to become obsessed with it, you beat the drum of it, you think you've gotten yourself into a good place of it. In all of that, you're launching rockets and rockets and rockets and rockets. And when you don't get it, it doesn't take back all of that stuff that you already put there, but what it does do, it puts you in a stronger, clearer place, new place, where you are now launching stronger, clearer rockets. And so your vibrational escrow is amassing, even though the physical evidence of it isn't being given to you. You're not allowing it step by step by step. You're not getting it the first crack out of the box, let's say. So if you can relax just a little bit and say, well, even though I didn't get it, I am now in a stronger place of wanting. And certainly when someone is sick, their wellness in vibrational escrow is more acute than it ever was before. The sickness made the potential wellness greater. So now we know that that might feel annoying, but we would like the subject of this gathering today to be pointed toward the value of coming to adore step one. And most people want to put up with step one because it's necessary. You got to ask before it can be given. But the contrast is the annoying part of this equation for most people. And if you could let the contrast no longer be the annoying part, and not even just be the necessary part, but be the nitty-gritty, really fun, hands in the clay, working the life experience, let it be something that you are really enjoying doing. In other words, haven't you felt a stronger determination, a stronger resolve well up in you, sometimes in those things that you really wanted that didn't go the way you wanted them to? And what we want you to understand is that you've been putting things into your vibrational escrow incrementally for a very long time on lots of seeming subjects other than just your career, and those subjects have to meld too. In other words, there's a lot that this composite you has come to be, that sometimes the receiving the benefit of this one acting job, while it might satisfy that one aspect of something you're wanting, like a lot of money or a chance to work with a particular person or whatever, it might contradict in many ways the whole of what's over there in your vibrational escrow. So if you will develop a sort of sense of trust that what's in this escrow and how it's been tended to, that things are always working out for you no matter how it looks, always working out for you no matter how it looks, and you will become one who embraces and even adores the contrast for the power that it puts, for the rockets that it launches, then what you begin to do, you begin to say things like, I trust the universe, and I trust law of attraction, and I trust my own vortex. I trust that things do work out for me. I wanted that, yes, and I still want it, and I want things like it, but I'm not going to use not getting this as the excuse to not be the match to what it is. It's so interesting. Now here's another thing. We're going to stay with you for a little while on this conversation until we can feel that you're grasping it. Because this process, you've heard the words before, daydream. Do you remember when you were kids? Before you were responsible? Before you felt responsible? Before you were resistant? Before you were defensive? Some of you can remember those moments in time. Some of them you've been living recently. But it's a little snatch of time where somehow you're not resistant in thought, and your mind is just receiving the ingredients of your vortex. They're putting themselves together with the tutelage or tutorialage, with the help of your inner being, who knows where you stand in relationship to everything that you want, and knows what the ingredients that you've put into your vortex is. So knows what the path of least resistance is for you to receive a thought. So do you think that you're here to create your own reality? You are. But do you think that the reason that you are here to create your own reality is that when you create your own reality, you will like it better? Well, that's one reason. But it isn't the reality that you are creating that you are here about. It's the thrill of reality creating that you're here about. It's the thrill of lining up with your true power and watching what you desire flow to you through the power of your own focus. It's the journey. Now, you've heard that your whole life. The joy is in the journey. Almost everybody is saying it, and nobody knows even what they mean when they're talking about the joy is in the journey. But we want you to know that what we mean by the joy is in the journey is that you did a lot of the journey when you knew what you didn't want and therefore knew what you did want. And you say, well, that was not all that joyful. And we say, well, it was to your inner being because you were identifying who you are. When someone was rude, you said, I like nicer. When somebody was hateful, you want more love. When somebody is diminished in some way, you want upliftment. When someone is sick, you want well. When someone's confused, you want clarity. When it's you, even more. You've been isolating and identifying, and there is this extraordinary grouping of ingredients that are the making of an ecstatic life experience for you. But you got to find a way to be in the vibrational vicinity of it.